Hello, this is Mark Gavor. I'm going to show how to calculate inventory turns and days coverage using Google Finance and Excel. First, you want to go to Google Finance. The stock I'm going to use today is General Motors. So if I'm searching finance, I put in GM and it shows General Motors. And I click on it. There's my General Motors homepage for their stock. I'm more interested in financials, so I'm going to go to the financials. And you can see on the instruction sheet, that's exactly where I want to be. I want to make sure that I'm looking at what? Right now they have a 3-month. I want to look at annual data. So I've got to go to here, click annual data, and I'm fine with the income. And what do I need to do this? I need revenue, and I need cost of revenue, which is the equivalent of cost of goods. And I'm trying to do this for a 2-year period. So let me slide this over here and bring my Excel spreadsheet up. And maybe I'll make my Excel spreadsheet a little bit bigger so you can see what's going on. So this is inventory turns for GM. And I'm kind of a little picky about formatting, and maybe the title, I like the maroon color. There we go. So what do I want? What do I need to calculate things? I need costs, I need revenue, I need cost of goods sold, which is cost of revenue, and I want it for 3 years, even though I'm trying to do 2 years. I'll show you why in a minute. We want 2014, 2013, 2012, and it's 12 months all ending on the year end. So if I just put the year, it should be okay. And let's copy this data. $155,929, 155 billion in sales. It's astonishing how large some of these corporations are. And 152, 256. Then my COGS are 142, 121. $137,373, 373, and 152. Oops, I'm sorry. 141, 443. What else do I need to make this calculation? I need inventory. And where would I find inventory? Inventory is on the balance sheet. And total inventory, this line right here. So for General Motors, what is my inventory for 3 years? I have the inventory less, obviously, 13,642. $14,039 and 14,714. I can do average inventory because the calculation wants an average inventory, the start and the end of the year. So we say equals average even though for 2 points it doesn't make much sense. And if I move this over 1, it should give me the previous 2. Yes, so we're there. Let's make this all dollars. And do I need 2 decimal places? Yeah, let's just make it 1. And let's insert a line here. All dollars as millions of dollars. So that we're doing millions of dollars. So I want to calculate my inventory turns. I don't need that sheet right now. And if I look at this, inventory turnover is cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. So inventory turns and maybe I should make everything so it's clear. And inventory turns or cost of goods sold equals cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. Do I need 7 decimal places? No, I'm not flying rocket ships to the moon. I really need that 10.3 turns a year, which is pretty good for an automotive company, I would think. And if I copy that cell over once, their turns went up, so they're cycling through their inventory. Cost of goods sold is the total amount of inventory they had at one point during the year in terms of cost, divided by the average inventory, what they have on hand. That tells you the amount of times they cycle through that inventory. Days coverage. So it's inventory days coverage. Days coverage is really the reciprocal of the inventory turns. It says, given the amount of inventory turns, how many days do they have? And you know, in the automotive industry, they're always talking about the number of days of finished goods, the cars they have on dealer lots. But in this case, we're talking about all their inventory. And you see, that's average inventory divided by cost of goods sold. So it's the reciprocal of inventory turnover times 365 for the number of days. So if I divide 365 by inventory turns. And that gives me 35 days coverage. And if I want, I can reduce that to 1. And we can make it 1 decimal place. So I got 35.5 days coverage. And you can see as the inventory turns went up from 9.6 to 10.3, the days coverage went down, as you would expect. So if we do cash as a percentage of sales, which is another thing to look at, we've got to find the cash number. So let's insert another line here. And where would we find cash? Now, there's many ways of looking at cash, and cash and short-term investments, cash and equivalents. You could look at your receivables, other current assets. There's all kinds of things you can do, but cash and short-term investments, I think we'll look at that line. That's the largest cash line, and we can see what the cash is as a percentage of sales. And then inventory is a percentage of sales too, so we need a line here for cash. And probably we need 3 years again because we want to take average cash. I would imagine if we took average inventory, we should do the same thing. So cash and short-term investments. Now there's always some debate about what cash should be, but let's just assume we're going to look at this and we're looking at a comparable point anyway. So we have 28,176. Oh, and it made it a dollar sign, which is good. 28,993. 28,993. And 27,410. So if I insert another line and call this average cash, I think I'm going to be able to just copy and paste the inventory line down here, and it should give me average cash. If you want to check, just click on it and say yes, it's exactly what it should be. So there I am. So the next things I want to cover is inventory as a percentage of sales. This is something I look at. Most other inventory people do not do that. So I take my average inventory and divide it by revenue. And I can do that for the 2 years that we're looking at. And I want to express it as a percentage. So maybe I can add another decimal place. So you can see there, General Motors is also doing a good job. They had inventory is 9.2% of revenue. It's going down to 8.9. And how about cash as a percentage of sales? By taking a percentage of sales, you can compare companies against each other. How much inventory as a percentage of sales does GM have versus Ford versus Chrysler versus Walmart versus Amazon? So let's calculate cash as a percentage of sales. It's almost done the same way. We do the average cash divided by revenue. And you can see they're heavier in cash than they are in inventory, which is probably something General Motors likes. And we'll make it one more decimal place. And there you go. So you have taken, let's make this bold. You know, my favorite color for these things is the light blue heading. And there you have it. You have calculated inventory turns, inventory days coverage, inventory percent of cash, cash as a percentage of sales, just using information you've gotten from Google Finance. Thank you very much. Expect another video soon.